It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning. It is a fantastic Friday here in the Bahamas. Thank you for joining us in Bahamas at sunrise. We're here dead early on a Friday. I'm Mark Daniels.
I'm Pinder, filling in for the beautiful and talented Anastasia Palacios, who's probably somewhere coaching someone or living her best life or doing something amazing. But I'm happy to be here with my Bahamas at Sunrise family.
Yes, Gandhi, always a pleasure having you with us here on the show. It's another fantastic Friday. It's a beautiful sunrise, and we're so grateful and happy to be with you this morning, sharing your morning with you, our viewers, and those all around the world. Gandhi, what's been up, man? It's the week is done. The weekend is here. You know, how are things going with you?
Things are great. You know, when you said the word sharing, I always get so excited when I hear the Bahamas at Sunrise jingle. So then I go on my phone and I go to Facebook and I share the video because I love to see the comments from people around the world that tune in. But it's been an interesting week, right? A lot of people have been celebrating birthdays. I see Shanique Miller, Andrew Burrows, Carlos Palacios, my friend Shanique Penn Evans, and it's just been busy. And you try to manage, and I don't know, like if it's just me, but have you feel like the days have been going so quickly?
Yes, definitely. For my wife and I, we're expecting the twins, and we're counting down the weeks, and they're just flying by, and so we're super excited. We're actually happy the time seems to have sped up for us, so we're definitely grateful for that. And I'm sure that people all around the world are hoping for time to speed up, especially with this war that's going on and this uncertainty of what's happening on a global scale and what's happening in Europe. Everyone would love to just press fast forward so we can get past this to a point where we have a resolution and this doesn't spill over into more and more countries and impact us on a longer time scale.
Right, because it's so amazing being in the restaurant industry and marketing and public relations and events, and everything was on pause in 2020, right? In 2021, there was still a lot of uncertainty. And then so we seem to be turning the corner. And then President Biden, you say, hey, maybe we might not call this a pandemic anymore. And then you see in the UK, they're ending certain COVID restrictions. And so we're not done, but turning the corner with this war on COVID. And then you hear about this and then the uncertainty, and then you hear things like former presidents backing the leader of Russia. And then usually when there's a war, that directly coincides with inflation. And so after coming out of such an uncertain financial period with the pandemic, people are already thinking, oh my goodness, how is this going to affect me? So you see the stock markets, and then you see people start to panic. What are things that you do when you're stressed or you're anxious and there's so many things going on around the world, just to stay focused and to make sure you're at peace in the center?
Very simply, you take a deep breath and you focus on the things that you can control. What's most important to me, and what is it that I need to do to, one, make sure that I am in a right state of mind, that my body is healthy, mind, body, and soul, that I'm taking care of my family, that they're also on the right page, and that you're also taking the opportunity to reach out to people in your community and in your circle to find out if they're okay, because each one reach one day at a time. And I try not to stress about things that I have no control over. So control what you can. Take a deep breath. It'll be all right.
And you were talking about this week. I had a good time last night at Frankie Gone Bananas. You always have a good time. And just I've been really experiencing and running into people who have been offering amazing service. And I want to shout out this lady named Gladys. She's at Western Air. Like, I never knew her before, but the way that she handled everything just lifted my spirits and made me smile. The crew at Anachronist on West Bay, like Eduardo Thompson and that entire crew, like before they start a service, they pray. And it's just, I love that people are still so centered like that. And I love that people still go above and beyond at with service. This guy named Crimes, who's an executive at BFS. And I'm just thinking about all these people who touched me along the way. And that's really what life is about, like a support system, a good network. I think about Desmond Williams, just so many people. It just really lifts my spirits.
And you know, yeah, here we are, right? And you're talking about support. And so, you know, I have another great show today, and we're going to continue to focus on our HBCUs with the AKAs and the alphas in town, and talking about how the decision to send their children to those colleges has impacted their lives. I will also revisit my interview with Dr. Sean Knowles about curbing domestic violence. Once again, another pertinent topic.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you talk about AKAs, so you talk about that Greek life. Last night, I told you I was at Frankie's. So there was this guy and he was taking a picture with another guy. I was about to snap that picture and he was like this, right? So I was like, are you a Kappa? You know, like, are you a Kappa? You throw it up these sides. And he's like, no, I'm a Leo.
Yeah, right.
He said it so I thought that was so funny. But anyway, yeah, so we'll also be connecting with the operations manager of Abaco Big Bird Poultry Farms. They're going to give us an update on their company. And author Warren Andrew Pinder, must be my cousin, he'll tell us about his new book. And there's a certain acronym, achieved. And I want to know what that spells out, what that means for him. Because he said if you really tap into it, it will change your life.
Great. Definitely looking forward to that segment. But let's go ahead and let's check in on weather with Brother Godfrey.
That's my job. That's my job, Mark. That's my job. Okay. And now it is time to take our first look at weather with the amazing, awesome man of great diglosity, the Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
Thank you, Gandhi, and good morning, Bahamas. In your first look at weather at sunrise, persistent high-pressure system continues to be the dominant feature, and that's providing stable and warm conditions. Today, partly sunny and warm, with a chance of few isolated showers to northwest Bahamas, but a little breezy for the central and southeastern islands, high temperature 83 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, patchy clouds around on the mild side. The low temperature go down to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And some region highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 84 and 74. In Jamaica, 85 and 71. In Trinidad, 83 and 76. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 85 and 70. Across North America, Atlanta, 64 and 49. In Raleigh, 78 and 48. In Miami, 80 and 71. Dallas, Texas, 41 and 26. And Toronto, Canada, 22 and 14. Lovely weekend so weather-wise, partly sunny skies, warm temperatures, just a slight chance of a shower. So temperature daytime will be in the mid-80s, at nighttime in the upper 60s. Looks like that next front, week one, will pass through sometime late Monday into Tuesday. That's what you're up on your first look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Godfrey. We are continuing our focus on HBCUs for Black History Month with the AKAs and the Alphas. Today, we thought it would be great to let the parents tell us how good these schools have been and how their children are doing. Joining us this morning are Raquel Haygood, parent of Rashay Haygood, a student with a 3.96 GPA at Harris Stowe State University in St. Louis, Missouri, and Eugene Sr. and Deborah Thompson, parents of Eugene Thompson Jr., a student with a 3.943 GPA at the Great Tuskegee University in Alabama. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise, my wonderful parents.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
morning.
Yes, yes. Thank you for being up with us dead early on this Friday, you know. Your children are off in college, so hopefully there's no little ones waking you up dead early like me. All right, so Mrs. Haygood, tell us, what is Rachel's major at Harris Stowe?
Good morning again. So Rachel's major is accounting at Harris Stowe State University.
Yes, one of those, I won't say traditional professions, but you know, when you're getting ready to pick a school and you tell mommy, say, "Mommy, I want to be a movie star. I want to be a dancer." Like, no, you're going to get one of those good professions: lawyer, doctor, accountant, and then maybe Indian chief, right? So yes, accountant. That's go ahead.
But here's the thing, though. This is something that she chose by herself. I did not choose this profession for her. She always liked numbers, and so that's what she chose.
Yeah, that would be another question. You know, how did we get around to that decision? But as you said, you know, she wanted that for herself. So that's awesome. Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, tell us, what is Eugene's major at Tuskegee University?
Morning again. His major is mechanical engineering.
All right. I love that. That's a tinkering mind. Whenever I see my son playing with Legos and I see him building and, you know, fixing vehicles and putting on axles, I'm like, maybe he has an engineer's mind. I work with a ton of engineers, so that's definitely a much needed profession, especially in the Bahamas, as we're going through changes, the climate change, and, you know, solving a lot of the issues in our country. So Mrs. Haygood, back to you again. What factors played a role in the decision for Rachel to attend Harris Stowe?
Well, we attended the scholarship, meeting at the Hilton that the Alpha Kappa provided. And mind you, she received scholarships from all the colleges that were there: Virginia, Fisk, Philanders, and Harris Stowe was actually the last college that were there. We attended that Sunday. It was 3 o'clock. We didn't leave till after 9 o'clock when we were there. And the funny thing about it was, she didn't even want to go to the last one. I said, Rachel, we're here. We might as well stay. We already waited this long. Let's just see what they have to say. And I said to her initially when we went there, I said, listen, they look tired. You have to say something to wake them up because they look a little tired. It was really a long day. And when we sat in the chair, she had the discussion with him. He was blown away with her, Dr. Dwayne Warmack, and he offered her the scholarship. And we were both surprised because initially we didn't know that she had gotten it until we watched the news.
Right. Wow. And, you know, that shows the importance of attending, you know, these open houses that the colleges and universities have, you know, go into these college fairs, meeting the recruiters, and, you know, sometimes you have the opportunity to meet the presidents of these universities, and that face-to-face connection, there's no dollar value on that. So I'm glad to hear how that turned out. So how does your daughter enjoy the HBCU culture at Harris Stowe?
Oh, she loves it. She loves it very much. It's a small knit community. One thing we both liked about it was that the faculty, they can call the students by name. So it's a smaller classroom sizes, and it doesn't hurt that everybody has the same skin color as us. So that's an extra bonus for us. And they love my daughter.
Well, you know, definitely, you know, and in the larger conversation of, you know, education for, you know, the African diaspora, being surrounded by people of like-mindedness, and also learning more about your history. We're in Black History Month, and not only learn about your history, but creating a future for Black persons and melanated persons all around the world. It's important to be in that type of setting. So I'm very happy that she's enjoying that. Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, what factors played a role in the decision for Eugene to attend Tuskegee University?
Well, initially, he was looking for a college anywhere because, like he said, him and I had a conversation. I said, well, what if you don't get accepted by these colleges that you applied for? Him being a part of Google CS, the Red Corps, he had a trip to China, and he said, well, Daddy, I'll have to go to China. They take people free. And then he went with the Gentlemen's Club and Alpha I, Alpha Psi, Alpha Phi. And they offered him a scholarship at Tuskegee University. And he started to read about Tuskegee and the Tuskegee Airmen. And he got really involved and infused with it. And he said, I'm going to Tuskegee. And I was like, what? And they offered him a scholarship along with the United Negroes College Fund. It was like everything was just popping in place, just thanks to God, you know, and we were very thankful for it. And so I guess
that's great. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And, you know, big ups, you mentioned the Gentlemen's Club. You know, I was a part of the Gentlemen's Club. I'm an alumni from the 2002 cohort. And, you know, always big up to Dr. Judson Enius for putting that program in place to do exactly what you said, help to connect young Bahamian men to universities that can help to edify them and build them up in the ways that's needed, especially amongst our Black males around the world. So tell us, Mr. Thompson or Mrs. Thompson, what has Eugene said his courses have been like as he's doing mechanical engineering?
Well, he said that challenging and stimulating at the same time.
That's good.
Sometimes when I call him, he says, well, Daddy, I can't talk long because I really got this lab work to do. And he said it's very challenging, but he seems to love it because he's always one for a challenge.
Yes, yes, that if you're in that field, you're definitely one that loves a challenge and is a problem solver, because you definitely need that kind of mind. Mrs. Haygood, you had mentioned that your daughter had received financial aid. Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, did you receive any financial aid for your child to attend university?
Yes, we did. The Alpha Phi Alpha gave him the full tuition, and the United College Negro Fund gave him room and board. Wow. So he got like full ride. And then the university also gave him a book scholarship. So every year he gets free books, you know, and sometimes, you know, he's just so overwhelmed, and he is so grateful for all the collective bodies that come together and really provide him with this opportunity to have further education, you know. So he is over the moon. He's enjoying himself, let me tell you.
That's amazing. You know, there's a saying amongst farmers that farmers just like to grow food. They don't want to worry about selling it. I say the same thing, kind of the same thing when it comes to students. Students don't have to worry about paying tuition. They want to go and learn and grow and develop and plan for their future. So if you're in a position where your tuition is partially or fully covered and you're receiving stipends, that's an awesome position to be in. Just grateful for all of the organizations that have helped both of you in terms of financial aid for your children. Just quickly as we wrap up, Mrs. Haygood, tell us, would you encourage other Bahamian parents to let their children attend an HBCU?
Oh, most definitely. Mind you, I think we have some of the best and brightest in the Bahamas in our kids. And I'm certain that everyone could perhaps get a scholarship if they attend one of these sessions.
Definitely, I agree. You know, once again, when you sit down with the recruiters, you learn about the university, you learn about the heritage. It's very inspiring, and that's something that will propel you forward when you're up late at night studying your mechanical engineering or going through your accounting books. And that's the power of going to HBCUs as a melanated person, as a Black person. To the Thompsons, would you encourage other parents to send their children to an HBCU?
I most definitely would, because not only is our son EJ, well, we call him EJ, he is involved in HBCU, but also our daughter Gabriella, she's at NCAT. So we have it from both ends, you know, both of them are experiencing that HBCU life, and they involve in the activities, and he was in the choir for 2 years, you know, he sang in 2 concerts, they went on the road, and that was an awesome experience for him. He thoroughly enjoyed it, you know, and, you know, coming from home, I didn't even know EJ could sing. So, I mean, it was just great, you know, and he's just enjoying it. This year, his 3rd year, it's a little challenging academically for him because he has a lot of labs, but he's learning how to be part of a team. He's now learning, they're now infusing in him how to be a team player. So with the labs and stuff that they're giving him. So he's just developing that area of his life now. And I would highly recommend it. And I would tell everybody, just go on the website and www.thinkhbcu242.com. Get your students involved. You know, you never know what will come out of it. And it gives you relief to know that your child can get an awesome education and free of charge. Most of the time, you might have to pay something, all depends on what their GPA and all that is. But most of the time, as both of us on this virtual it's afforded right now, both of our children have full rights. That's a relief. That's a relief for parents.
Yes,
Parents, that is a relief.
Yeah.
Eugene is not our only child. He's the last out of our 4 kids. Yeah. So.
Well, that's definitely amazing and definitely positive to hear. So happy that both of you, all 3 of you, were able to join us this morning. Raquel Haygood, parent of Rashay Haygood at Harris-Stowe State University, and Eugene and Deborah Thompson, parent of EJ at Tuskegee University in Alabama. We'd like to thank you both for being on this morning, dared early on Friday, talking about HBCUs and how it can benefit you, your children, and our future. I'd like to thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
We believe in relationship banking. We take pride in getting to know our clients. You have access to knowledgeable, approachable ambassadors and financial coaches so that we can recommend the best product for you. At Fidelity, we care about you. From your financial health to your physical health, we can relate to you because we're just like you. Come and start your relationship banking experience with us today. Visit us online at fidelitygroup.com. Visit any of our branches in Nassau or Grand Bahama, or phone 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 for Freeport.
And welcome back. We're on my favorite show, Bahamas at Sunrise. And we have a wonderful guest with us. He's no stranger to Bahamas at Sunrise. And we are going to talk about something that I really love, near and dear to me, chicken. We're going to talk about Abaco Big Bird Poultry Farms, and they provide top quality chicken and produce to the Bahamian market to promote farming in a sustainable way so that the Bahamas can feed itself. That is so important in these times. Here to tell us how they are doing is Lance Pinder, Operations Manager, Abaco Big Bird Poultry Farms Limited. Are you my cousin?
Maybe somewhere.
Good morning to you and welcome back.
Good morning. Glad to be on.
Yeah, I really want to dig into this. Well, first of all, how long have you been in business?
Big Bird started in 95.
95?
So, yeah.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about it. And maybe and would you say that again for me?
Like 27 years, I guess now. Yeah.
Right. So tell us, I guess, about it, your evolution over the years.
Well, I was just 14 when it started, so I was a small fry. We started, like I said, 95, and we had 4 poultry barns, and then it wasn't long after that we actually got into the banana business along with the chickens, and then slowly evolved into Persian limes and avocados, more orchard type crops. Went well with the chicken production.
Right.
And over the years it's evolved. We ended up with a 5th chicken house in around 99 because the demand for our product was there, even though there were other farms operating at that time in the Bahamas. And over the years, we kind of got out of the banana business. And, when we first started, we just grew the chickens the way the people came in and said, you grow the chickens. But over the years, we learned kind of our own way of doing it and cut out a lot of the medications and the artificial stuff. We realized we don't need it. There were better ways we could do it ourselves. And that's kind of how we evolved, and our product got better and healthier, and that's what we have today. Well, obviously Dorian was a big setback for us, but
I was gonna ask you that, and thank God we were spared this last hurricane season. How were you impacted by Dorian?
Well, Dorian, I mean, we've had other bad hurricanes, but nothing like Dorian. I mean, it completely destroyed all our poultry barns. We were incapable of growing poultry after the storm. We lost the whole flock of birds during the storm, which has never happened before. We lost all of our citrus, and we lost about 40% of our avocado orchards, but we're rebuilding.
Rebuilding and that process. And it seems like Abaco in particular is very resilient, and you guys have a great community. And it sounds like it's a family business, right?
Yeah, it's a family business. My dad and my uncle and my grandfather started it. It's kind of evolved over the years. Obviously, my grandfather's not here anymore. And in the last few years, the family grows, it gets bigger. We bought out, me and my dad, and my aunt kind of bought out the other family members, because everyone starts going their different ways. You get grandchildren involved and everything.
Well, congratulations to you. Congratulations to you. Tell me, Mr. Pinder, how do you work towards your mission of making the Bahamas sustainable in its food production? Sustainable is such an important word in food sustainability.
Well, we're always trying new things. Like I said before, we're the Bahamas, a lot of people come in, consultants and things, and our environment and our economy and everything's very unique. So we have to always try to develop ways that work for us. The one size fits all model from somebody coming in from outside really doesn't always work. So we're always doing that. We're always looking for ways to cut down on any kind of, like several years ago, we stopped using chemical weed killers here at the farm.
Okay.
We're always eliminating that stuff as we go to try to get just a better environment around our farm, better, preserve our drinking water, because, the Bahamas has a lot of, believe it or not, islands like Abaco and Andros, we have a lot of groundwater that we really need to preserve and keep it pristine. And that's important for farming too, because you need water to grow things.
Well, I was going to ask you what's special about your farm, and it sounds like that's one of the things. And what else would you say makes your farm really special?
We just always try to do the right thing here. We look out for our employees. We try to make sure our animals are well taken care of. Even though they're going to be used for food, doesn't mean they should be mistreated. We're very environmentally conscious of our island and our community. And, I see the people that eat my food every day. So when you're selling someone something that you never see them, a big corporation, in a way, it doesn't really, sometimes it's a disconnect. It doesn't matter to them what they're feeding you. But when I see the people every day, it's my friends, it's my family, it's my community that's eating my food. So I want to make sure that I'm giving them good stuff, to eat as well. So
that's amazing.
It makes a big difference with local production.
It does, and that's really beautiful to hear. So you're based in Abaco. Of course, you supply a lot of people and probably businesses in Abaco, and then you ship to the family islands.
Yeah, right now we're only 1/5 of the size we were before the storm, because of COVID and rebuilding and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but we supply Abaco. We also ship to Nassau, and from there it's distributed other places.
Okay, this is what I'm going to call kind of like our flash round, right? But this is so interesting. You have to come back again. But how are the inflationary prices affecting the company? Because I know, being in the restaurant business too, I mean, people wouldn't believe the prices that have gone up.
Oh, it's crazy right now. And we've seen things like this in the past. Sometimes it'll last 3, 4, 6 months. Prices will go up and then they'll come back down. When you're like a primary producer like us, you see spikes in the background happen like this all the time. People don't realize it. And someone like us will ride it out for a few months, because hoping that things will trend downwards. But we've been riding it out since last year, probably March. This kind of started going, and instead of getting better, like as November, December, January's rolled around, it's actually accelerating, which is not a good sign.
That is absolutely not a good sign. And like you said, we experience things and inflation in a way that the public would not see. And then sometimes they see the price goes up a little bit and they don't know how much I think the person actually absorbs to ensure that the prices remain affordable for consumers. Right. But Access Accelerator, they sponsored this segment and they have done so many wonderful things. Tell us, how did they help you?
Well, we were one of the grantees from Access Accelerator after the storm, which was quite shocking to us. Believe it or not, through all the hurricanes we've ever had, we have never gotten any assistance from a governmental organization the way we did after Dorian. You might have got like 10 bags of fertilizer or something like that. And what does that do for poultry farm or even someone who's got 50, 60 acres of avocados or something like that. Yeah. So we were actually surprised that we did get actual funding, which was amazing. It freed up capital for us to do things and invest money and get more projects back going. I mean, it freed up enough capital for us to get our citrus orchard going again almost right away. So now those trees that were little sticks, because you could only bring in what they call rootstock, are now 6 feet tall, and they're loaded with fruit that's going to Persian limes that'll be ready in about 2 to 3 months. And I don't know if you've seen the price of limes lately in the store because of everything that's happening. Yeah. So those are the kind of things that the Bahamas needs to be doing that will help blunt us from these inflationary prices. We've put all our eggs into a foreign food basket, and now we're going to pay the price for it.
Well, you know what? We thank you for these words of wisdom. And of course, it was laced with reality, but also hope and inspiration. And we are very grateful to Access Accelerator for sponsoring this segment. And just very quickly before you go, how can we get in contact with you and how can we support your business?
Well, we're here, Abaco Big Bird at yahoo.com. We're also at Abaco Big Bird on Facebook. Asa Pritchard is distributing for us in Nassau. You can call them and get just about any of our products that are available. And we're working on more outlets down there. There's a fish delivery guys that also you can do special orders with down there. So we're here, we're available, and we hope to have more products available soon.
Well, thank you, Mr. Lance Pinder, Abaco Big Bird Poultry Farms Limited. It was a pleasure having you on the show, and everybody tuned in, stay with us because we're going to talk about what happened at the F&M convention.
You're going political.
Right after this, they got to stay for it.
In the Bahamas, small business is big business. More than 90% of the businesses in the Bahamas are classified as micro, small, or medium-sized enterprises, or MSMEs. The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center was created to serve them. We at the Access Accelerator offer a variety of services to our clients: business advisory services, training and entrepreneurial programming, mentorship and incubation, and advocacy.
Join the Click is an initiative started by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions last year when we were trying to figure out how to help business leaders as well as consumers to stay connected. Working with Canoe, working with other partners, working with the government and My Gateway to help them to connect with customers who want to place orders and want to be able to do things in a digital way.
My Gateway. My Gateway is a groundbreaking portal through which clients can request and pay for government services online. We have 28 services. We expect to increase the number of services to a minimum of 200.
I love that we're helping the government and helping our citizens to be more efficient and to use their time more wisely.
I invite you to sign up for mygateway.gov.bs and let us make government work for you. Join the Click.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. You're joining us on a fantastic Friday. Up with us dead early. I'm Mark Daniels.
I'm Gandhi Pinder filling in for Anastasia Palacios, and you said a fantastic Friday, and I believe that. You know, this week we have, some special days, and you were speaking with some parents, and I think said their son was like an engineer or studying that, right?
Happy Engineers Week.
It's Engineers Week, and tomorrow, this Saturday is National Personal Chef Day. I got to shout out Chef Simeon Hall. And Saturday is also National Carpe Diem Day, but it's never too early to seize the day, right? That's a good one.
I'm going to seize Saturday from Friday. How about that?
Today is seize Saturday from Friday day.
Exactly, right?
Right.
Definitely enjoyed those segments. I work with a ton of engineers at our company. I'm always impressed by them, their attention to detail, their dedication to their craft, and just how so much of the development of our nation rests on the engineers' shoulders, especially here in our country. Coastal engineers, structural engineers, civil engineers, electrical engineers, all of the engineers out there. We love you and we thank you for the work that you do.
Engineers unite.
Exactly.
I always, since I was in media, I always loved covering political events, and I like the energy at conventions and at rallies and everything. And so I've kind of been following the F&M convention, and I wanted to reach out to a few people. So they got started on Wednesday. They wrapped tonight. Yeah, tonight's their last night. So they've been meeting at Atlantis. I heard it's been pretty decent crowds. I see them broadcast live online, and I think they're on the national station. But what was very interesting to me, Mark, is that they have some 100 plus persons running for office in different areas. And Pakisha Parker was telling me that they are witnessing like an increase in new faces, like coming to the forefront. And you have like a lot of young people, because as I read the list, I heard a lot of names that I wasn't necessarily familiar with. And then I want to get your feedback, and then I got to go into my notes from Earl Thompson. But I'm looking at this, and the highly coveted, positions or the races to watch. And I think that they're doing some sort of elections and voting today. Deputy Leader, Adrian White and Shannon Dawn Cartwright. Chairman, Michael Folks, Ellsworth Johnson, Dr. Dwayne Sands. Secretary General, I only see Serpent E.J. Roll. Treasurer, I see one person, Dwight S.L. Sawyer. And then Deputy Chairman, Heather Hunt, Brad McPhee, Jamal Moss, Don Saunders, and Francis Sawyer. And I hear a lot of names to me for deputy chairman that are familiar, but I don't know, I'm kind of like, I hope a female can emerge somewhere along the way.
Well, they have to go through their process for their party to continue. All parties evolve and change. I'm not familiar with the internal processes, but I think fresh faces are always a good thing. You need to have new ideas and innovation and representation. So you have the youth represented, you have women represented, and you take into consideration the at-risk demographics in the country, and they should do themselves good. But there's always a little drama behind the scenes.
But so this was interesting. So on Thursday, the delegates got together to review amendments. And there's been an increase to the meritorious council members, MCMs. No, it's not just Man Crush Monday. So in the past, they were only able to have 100. Now, after voting, they're able to have 200 MCMs, and they're going to be installed. And then the voting delegates are going to be able to vote today. Yeah. And so, I don't know, it's
lots
so exciting. And I got to shout out Michael Pintard, the Honorable Michael Pintard. I think he's an awesome and amazing person, visionary leader. And he has like that bipartisan quality about him, like a true nationalist. And so it's interesting to see how that'll be balanced in this new day. And I think the PLP has been off to a really good start as well, too. So this is my disclaimer to say, if you all see me at the F&M convention tonight, I just being nosy, I wasn't happening. Mark, you come with me?
All right, we understand. Just save all the tea and then we can talk about it next week. But we still got more great stuff for you in our second half. We're gonna have author Warren Andrew Pinder here to talk to us about his new book, Reaching Out Towards Men.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear about that ACHIEVE acronym. And then we'll hear from Dr. Sean Knowles about curbing domestic abuse. Wow. So we have all of that and more. And I met the people who won the Valentine's Day promotion at Safadilla. I took a picture with them and like a video. They were so cool, and they took a photo with the pastry chef. So it was good times. But now Suzette was in the spirit when she said, let's take a second look at weather with Dr. Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
Thank you, Gandhi, and good morning, Bahamas. In your second look at weather sunrise, high pressure continues to dominate the weather across the islands, and thus providing some stable and warm conditions. In the marine forecast, we have a caution posted over the central and southeastern islands for those winds today easterly at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the northwest Bahamas, northeast to east at 15 knots, sea 2 to 5 feet over the central and southeastern islands. On Saturday, those winds northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet northwest Bahamas, 15 knots, sea 2 to 5 feet over the central and southeastern islands. On Sunday, those winds easterly at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 northwest Bahamas, falling light and variable at times. East to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the central and southeastern islands. Yeah, tide. We can expect a low tide at 9:06 this morning. Next high tide will be at 2:51 this afternoon. Low gain tonight at 9:03. Sunset will be at 6:09 this evening. Rises tomorrow morning at 6:34. UV index 8. Your water temperature 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Honeymoon phase last quarter. Your external look. High pressure persists to the island still Wednesday as it moves towards the east. Another cold front moves into the area sometime on Tuesday. So for the weekend, lovely Wednesday weather-wise, partly sunny skies, warm temperatures, and a slight chance of a passing shower. Those temperatures daytime will be in the mid-80s, at nighttime in the upper 60s. With that puts you up in your final look at weather sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Gandhi.
And welcome back. The new book, Achieve Men, is building courage in young men to unleash the power within, to achieve their dreams and impact the world. Here to tell us more is author Warren Andrew Pinder. I mean, my cousins are running the stuff on the show today. It's Pinder Day. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Gandhi.
You think we related?
Very well, could be.
I like to be related to successful people. Thank you very much. I feel it.
Okay.
So I guess first tell us about yourself. We were talking offline and I was asking, is this your first book? Because you're in the field of project management.
That is correct. It is my first book. I am the Executive Vice President of Construction at Abaco Homes, where I've been building homes for the last 22 years. Now I've moved into trying to assist and build lives.
And I was going to ask you, so you can assist and you can build lives in many ways. You can have that one-on-one contact. You can speak. What inspired you to actually write a book?
I wanted to get a message out. It's a vision of a systematic concept using the acronyms of the word achieve, where one can take action to do something. You know, Nike said, just do it. They motivated millions. If you just start by taking action, you'll motivate yourself to be completed and finish your goals. So, you know, we moved in just using the same letters of that word achieve. You know, the C would represent charting your course, where you want to ensure that you have a plan that is tangible to help the assist and lead you to your goal. In doing so, you know, the H would help you to remove the hurdles that you will encounter in life. You know, trying to identify what it is that you want, right? With intensity, that I, in that same word, you just put intensity toward what you want to do. E would be the effort that you want to put that 100%, you know, behind. V, the values, those principles that we stand upon, things that we were taught, things that we know that are right and wrong. And then, of course, that last E would assist us in earning our rewards. This simple concept that, you know, it's just a talking piece that you can actually use every day in your life. Those same 7 steps will assist you in achieving your rewards and goals.
Yeah, and you know, 7, that's that number of completion, right?
That is correct.
It's such a good number. Now you talk about our unique gifts from God, but unfortunately, we never give thought to it until we are faced with trials and tribulations. And even in the Bible, right? Debbie Bartlett always says the success manual for life. It always says that perfects character. So how do we take our trials and tribulations? Sometimes we don't see an end, you know, through the tunnel, and make it work for our good.
Well, it's all about purpose. And a lot of times the Lord will lead you toward that trial, that you can become, your character be strengthened toward leading you to your purpose. And once you seek out that purpose, then you begin to find peace in doing what it is that you like. You know, so it's all about, you know, just creating a purposeful life for yourself.
You said seek out purpose and find peace. You know, that's so true. Like, we are searching for meaning. We want to know, why am I here? And you said, what have I done, or what have you done to impact the world? Martin Luther King said, everyone can be great because everyone can serve. I mean, what do we do with this question? How do we unpack it?
Gandhi, I ask that question often, and believe it or not, that's the question that persons pause.
Right.
What have you done to impact the world? I ask you that question. What have you done to impact the world?
Right.
I can say now that I wrote a book, but it's a serious question that if we really give thought to it, you know, we can become impactful, right? Just simply, you know, speaking to a person, doing something that can affect one individual that can actually be the next Bill Gates.
Yeah.
You know, it's a question that just came, and that is the last statement in my book. What have you done to impact the world?
And do you think that this book will impact the world? What is your vision and what is your plan for achievement?
My vision is to really the concept that if persons were to use that concept daily, taking action, charting the course, removing the hurdles, being intense about what you want, going after it with 100% effort, standing on the principles and values, you will earn. It's the concept behind it that it can be used in daily lives, not just for young men, but for everyone.
Yes, you did say that. You did say this is for everyone, but you specifically target the men and you call the men out, which I think is a beautiful thing. Why the men?
We need to stand and find our purpose as men. You know, I work in an environment where I see is women that initiate the purchase of that home. Right. And I know that men, if they don't take action now, they're going to get left behind. You know, I taught for 10 years and I would always tell my students that, you know, at 18, if you don't begin to become focused, Another 18-year-old will come behind you when you have done your at 30, and there's no place for you at that time. So it's about charting a course, taking advantage of all the opportunities that are presented to you, find that purpose.
How do we encourage our young men, especially as women? Sometimes we have a tendency, whether we realize it or not, sometimes we end up emasculating men, and life is already so hard.
Gandhi, you have to let a man find himself, right? A man wants to protect you as a woman wants to protect his family. A lot of times, then he may not have had that opportunity, but if you can guide him to that opportunity, like a book like this, read it with him, show him that, hey, what have you done today? What actions are you taking toward that which you want? Do you know your goal? Have you charted the course toward that goal? What are the hurdles? What are the hurdles that are there? All right. Do you really want it? Are you intense about it? All right. Are you prepared to put in 100% effort? What did you learn from your mother? What did you learn from your a mentor? And if you work together and accomplish these simple steps, certainly you'll earn the reward of achieving whatever goal you set for yourself.
Right. And you keep bringing back that word achieve. And I want to thank you, Mr. Pinder. We need to get a copy of your book. So in our last few seconds, please tell us where we can get it. But women, please continue to speak life into your man, into children, be his peace, lift him up, build him up, have that conversation about purpose at a really early age, and definitely get this book and do life together. How can we reach you?
Definitely. The book is available on Amazon. Canadian price is $17.99 for paperback. There's the audio book that's $17.99, and the ebook is at $9.99. We will have them on Allen next week. Actually, the end of next week, we'll have hard copies on Allen that will be at $20. So they'll be available here on Allen next week.
Okay, how can we reach you? Is there a number? Phone
sure,
number?
most certainly. 815-0006.
815-0006.
That is correct.
Author, I feel happy to say that. Warren Andrew Pinder, congratulations for stepping out and doing it. Achieve Men, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to get the book. We will be right back after this commercial break. You'll want to catch what's next.
Since 1967, Freeport Oil Company Limited has been dedicated to fueling growth and prosperity in the Bahamas. We have been a constant pillar within the country, striving to invest and support our community through the best of times and the worst of times. For us, Full Call represents 21 years of strength and consistency, consistent leadership, consistent growth, consistent customer service. Through it all, we are resilient. Full Call, fueling growth for people.
One thing, two things, blue thing, all things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Our world has changed. Many businesses have been closed for months with little or no access to their customers until now. Rev Media can help you remain connected to your customers. Our trusted customized advertising packages and personalized consultants will provide your business with immeasurable support during this challenging time. Your customers are already watching. Rev Media can help you to remain connected. Call us today. Let us help you.
Welcome back. Sadly, most of us are all aware of a recent tragedy where a young lady was shot and killed by a former partner who then shot himself.
we want to tackle this issue of domestic violence. What are the warning signs of abusive relationships, and how do we resolve conflicts without violence? Here to give us some expert advice on this is Dr. Sean Knowles, a physician and co-CEO at Emmanuel Medical Center and former physician at Sandilands Rehabilitation Center in the Department of Psychiatry. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise, Dr. Knowles.
Yes, good morning, Mark. Thank you so much for having me. Good morning, Bahamas.
Yes, thank you for being here. As we said earlier, this is a conversation that, many people have been having all week. A lot of people have been hurt, frustrated, kind of lost. How do we get here? And how do we get ourselves out of there? So, I guess the first thing I want to ask you is, how would you describe an abusive relationship? And what is considered domestic violence?
Okay, so if you look at the word abuse, Mark, it means treating someone with violence or disrespect, cruelty, harm, or force. And when someone treats another person in that way, it is called an abusive relationship. And of course, abuse can not only be physically, it can be sexual, it can be emotionally, it can be psychologically, and even financially. And so when we talk about domestic violence, it's also synonymous with domestic abuse, as well as intimate partner violence. And it's defined as a pattern of behavior in any relationship that is used to gain or maintain power and control. So when you look at relationships where there is a history of domestic abuse, there's always that one person who has, tries to exert power and control over the other individual. And one point I want to highlight, Mark, is that this is not just a lower socioeconomic class issue. Domestic violence can happen in just about any, home environment, regardless of race or age or gender or sexual orientation or even faith. So it is a pathology that we are dealing with here in the Bahamas. And I'm so glad that we're now having a conversation about it, despite what has been happening recently. We want to prevent any further, final episodes where persons have lost their lives due to being in a domestic violence relationship.
Wow, I love the way that you described it as a pathology and the idea of the need to be in control and seeking for power. This idea that someone is a possession that you must control, and it's something that many of us have seen, whether it's close or we've seen it, friends, family, heard the stories. But what are some signs of an abusive relationship, and what are some of the early warning signs we can look out for?
Okay, so very, very good questions. I'm going to try and say as much as I can in a short amount of time. So first of all, it's uncommon for a person to become highly abusive in a relationship at the very get-go, at the very first instance. Often they will start to try to gain that power over their partner in small, subtle ways. And so if you see warning signs, red flags, you need to listen to them. And some of the common warning signs that we know of would be definitely that person is very jealous, to the point where they, see or accuse the other person of flirting and don't want them to be involved in any other relationships or see other people. That whole controlling nature. Another very common red flag is what I call the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde personality, where that person is overly moody. They may be mean to you 1 minute, and then they switch and they're calm and loving. That's definitely a sign that something is not right with that individual. Other warning signs that you should look for is if that person is trying to escalate that relationship to the point where they want to get married very quickly or get engaged very quickly without dating. That's a sure sign. If they speak bad about your family or your friends and again try to tell you shouldn't be hanging out with them. If they nitpick and criticize you about things and then they blow them up, making a big deal out of small issues. If they call you excessively throughout the day or they're constantly stalking you, that's not a good sign. If they break or throw objects, if they're extremely angry and aggressive, slamming things, that probably tells you that that relationship has the potential to be a very abusive one. And you need to pay attention to those warning signs, please.
So for family and friends who may see some of these early warning signs, or persons involved in a relationship and they're recognizing these signs, how can friends and family intervene? And, when is couples counseling recommended for persons that are in an abusive relationship?
Okay. So, we have this notion in the Bahamas, Mark, because a person may be involved with someone, why ain't getting in their business, I want to kind of dispel that, because if you recognize someone as being in an abusive relationship, it's incumbent upon you to try to help that person as best as you can. So if the victim comes to you, lend a sympathetic ear in a non-judgmental manner, hear what they have to say. If you definitely see the warning signs or you see signs of physical abuse, that is time to act, because you don't know what can happen. And so one of the things that I strongly recommend is that you help that person develop a safety plan, all right? Especially in the case where there's children involved, if they're married. And so what do I mean by that? So it's good to help that person come up with ways of what they can do when they know that they have to get out of that relationship in a matter of minutes. So that may mean making emergency contacts of persons that you need to contact. The police, I think, should be informed ahead of time. The Bahamas Crisis Center is another good place. And I'm even going to say this, have a suitcase ready with your clothes and passports and other items in case you need to run. When it comes to being in an abusive relationship, Mark, I'm going to be very straight up with you, and I hope I don't get attacked for this, but there's no room for couples therapy, because in that instance, there's already such a pathology that the person who is being, doing the abuse, they need to change their behavior. Their attitude has to change. And so when you talk about doing couples therapy where there is an abuse, it cannot work. It's very, very difficult for that to work, because already, as we've established, that's a whole issue of power and control. And until you deal with that person's attitude and their thinking and their mentality, nothing's going to change. And my last point I'm going to say, of course, you can see I'm very passionate about this. Marriage is not a reason to stay in an abusive relationship, especially physical abuse. That's not a reason. Your life could be very well in danger. Your children's life could be in danger. Get out of that relationship. And if you are a family member and you have that person and you're keeping them safe, and if the abuser comes to the home, do not let them in. You have a right to say, you cannot come in my property. And if need be, call the police until that person can get the help that they need.
Wow, lots that you've given us there. Friends and family, help somebody that that might be in an abusive relationship develop a safety plan. Couples therapy is not the solution. That person needs to deal with those internal issues on their own. And then, the next question I have is, people always assume that it's that only women or females are abused, but can men also be abused in relationships?
Absolutely. I mean, I laugh a little bit about that, because so much abuse goes on with men that it goes unreported. And the reason why I can say that is I've obviously worked with some men who would have been in abusive relationships. Most of it is verbal and emotional, demasculinizing him. Of course, there are some women who hit men. And so, yes, the answer to that is a resounding yes. Nobody has a right, Mark, to lay hands on anybody. No adult should have think it's their right to hit another adult. That's a very serious level of mentality that we have to address. And one of the things that I'm proposing is we start conflict resolution with children now from primary school level. Teach them, because some of them may be seeing, their fathers or their, uncles hitting other women. And you have to send a message that is not right. That is not the way that you ought to handle conflict. And so we have to start at the root of the problem and helping our children to understand. And even our girls, of course, we know that majority of abuse takes place with women. Teaching our girls to have high self-esteem of themselves, not to allow anyone to say anything bad or negative to them, and definitely not to lay hands on them. So the answer to the part about men, yes, it happens, sadly.
Dr. Knowles, man, I could talk to you all morning. I have so many more things to ask. I've always said, we should be our brother's keeper, and how men should interact with one another to hold ourselves accountable. I still think there's a conversation there. But we'd like to thank you so much for joining us this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise, talking about domestic violence and abusive relationships. You're there at the Emmanuel Center and the Emmanuel Medical Center, and that the man in there is intentional. So men, don't be afraid to reach out for help. If you know somebody that maybe needs to speak to Dr. Knowles, you take a friend with you, men and women. It's not only for men, but this is a conversation that's going to continue. Dr. Knowles are definitely going to have you back again. And we thank you for joining us this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I look forward to it, Mark. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
We'd like to thank you for joining us on Bahamas at Sunrise, dead early on this fantastic Friday. Thank you for being us with this week. Enjoy your weekend.
Enjoy your weekend. And then we got to say Lincoln Deal and Travis Robinson for Vice Chairman. And I see Jenny Isaacs Thompson for Deputy Secretary General. So this could be hot, hot, hot. Mark, hold on. I know you are a botanist, right? I saw this plant. Yeah. I saw this. Can you see it?
Yeah, that's a Tillandsia. It's a bromeliad, cousin of the pineapple.
But what's those other things you were saying about it? All those.
Well, it's an apple fight, and so you have to.